Hello, welcome back. Today I am going to be doing some prototyping for this new moth puppet that I'm working on. I'm prototyping because I don't know quite what format I want this puppet to be in, and I also don't know quite the scale that I want to work in. So the first thing I did was I got my Charlie puppet, and then I drew out what size I thought that this one might need to be based on the size of Charlie. So that's the little drawing you can see here on the right hand side, and then I'm just using some scraps and some offcuts. So this is like offcuts of some like swimming float, and some lolly sticks, and some bits of string, and the antennae are some ends of the cable ties, the bits you cut off when you finished cable tying. So I usually keep all those because they're quite good, nice flexible material. So what I'm doing is I'm making it in like a marionette format. So I'm giving it string joints, and just testing which ones need to be flexible, which ones don't. And then I'm going to explore what style of puppet do I want this little moth to be. Do I want this to be a marionette? Do I want it to be a rod puppet? Do I want it to be a hybrid type puppet? And I'm just going to think about, as I'm going through, what I need it to do, where I need it to be operated from, how many hands I need to be using. So this is kind of like just working out my brain through my hands. So these wings, I had a little offcut of some ripstop nylon, like a kite fabric. And I use my phone just by enlarging the scale of moth, and I just trace that round to get the shapes, because nature has already designed that and it works really well for it. So I'm just going to copy that, and through copying it I can learn what's good and what's not good about it. In this process I worked out that, so I did just a very narrow joining point for the wings, and you'll see as I go along it's not staying put as much as I would like. So what I did learn is that I do need to put a broader joining point onto the body, just so it's works more like a hinge joint rather than like a pivoty joint. What I did with the neck joint is I put 2 strings through so that it can turn but it doesn't fully spin round. That seems to work quite well. And I feel like there was way too many moving parts for something so small to be able to operate really smoothly with, I think, just one puppeteer. So I think I'm going to do some sprung legs and sprung arms, because I don't feel like this character needs to walk around too much. I feel like it's going to fly as its movement, and it's something that we can always go back in and add little, for a film anyway, I can always go and add little temporary rods if I need to. So here I've just made like a very, very simple control out of some more lolly sticks. I just had loads of lolly sticks because we love to eat a lolly in our house. So I got loads of those. So I just used some lolly sticks to make a little control, just to test out what it might be that I need. And I put it on sort of a string less than a metre, because I don't want it dragging on the ground. So yeah, here's the first test of what a marionette version of this might be. So it looks a little bit dead, and then I realise I can just pivot where I was holding the control, and that can lift the head up, which is quite nice. But then it gets loads of swinging in it. So I feel like maybe it just needs to be, so I've put these little weights in to make it heavy, but I'm not sure if I like the swinging or not, so that's something I'm going to think about. And I need to have a little look at what, if I do this style, putting the wings themselves onto another mechanism as well. So I've put the head on like a little, the leg bar of my other marionette. So I put the head onto that, but I think the wings also need a mechanism or a trigger or something like that, just to operate them, to get that kind of fluttering feel. And they also probably need a little bit more weight, just so that they respond up and down the string. So here I made a second test, and I've just put the whole puppet onto rods so I can get much more direct movement. I feel like this gives me the fluttering that I want, but then I realised, because it's going to be playing against the marionette, which operates on the floor level, to operate this puppet I need to then be lower than the marionette, so you're going to end up with a huge human body against the marionette of Charlie. so I think anything I operate needs to be operated from above rather than from below, just to keep them within the same world. The next thing I experimented with was, because I really liked the movement of this, it felt like it, although I'd put like we had a bit of a head movement on it, it didn't feel like enough, so I wanted to put a little head nod on it. So I just made a little very simple prototype of a head nod, which is kind of a corner of a box almost on a pivot, operated by a string with elastic, so it's got a rebound to it, and also putting a little tube for the body, so that we've got this kind of separation. So we've got both those movements of a twisting head and a nodding head, so you can get like a really good range of motion, which is great for puppets that need a lot of expression, and you can put them in like, so they operate from behind or from below, and I think I could probably make it work so you can operate it from above as well. So I did all this before I kind of worked out this, that I didn't want to operate it from below. I definitely want to operate it from above, so it's in line with how Charlie is working, and also then we can get lots of lovely height to it. So then whilst I was doing this, I was thinking about that. I was really enjoying, once I look back at the video, I was really actually liking how the marionette operated, but I still felt like it had quite a lot of swing to it. And I like the direct control of the wings of the rod version. So after I've done this little nod mechanism that you can see here, I actually went on to try out a whole separate one back with the first version of the prototype. So I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. So I went back to the first type of prototype, that marionette rod version, and I gave it a, oh here you go, this is the nodding mechanism, and I gave it, rather than being a fully strung puppet, I did like the Sicilian marionettes, which have like a rod marionette. So they have like a metal rod usually that runs through into the body, so you have direct control over the body, but then other parts are operated by string. So it's like kind of a hybrid, so not a full string marionette. So it's a rod marionette. So I put the rod on the body so I could really get a kind of flutter and stop feeling to it. I also then put the wings on rods as well. I tried a little mechanism, it didn't really work, so I went back to my just holding them, fluttering them, and then I put the head onto a separate head bar, as I did in the first instance, and I feel like this gave me quite a nice movement, but I'm still going to think about it a bit more because I'm not quite sure which direction I want to go in. But what I do know is I need sprung legs and about the connection joints, and I know I need a little bit of weight to it. So I feel like I probably could start building and work it out as I go, but I quite liked this combination of the two. But maybe I lose something that the marionette had that was really nice, felt like flying. So basically I'm not really sure quite which version of this I'm going to go for. I'm going to have another look at all the footage again and decide. If you've got any thoughts, feelings or instincts on that, please do put them in the comments below. I'm always happy to do a bit of puppet geekery. But in the meantime, thanks for joining me and see you soon. Bye!